Welcome back to Sean on Boxing, to another great weekend of watch along. Excuse me. Let me just have a quick sip of black coffee. The first fight of the doubleheader is about to begin sometime soon. Floyd Schofield against a tough, rugged opponent. Floyd Schofield, over the last few fights, has really made quite a statement. Really has put his name out there as a name to pay attention to at the 135-pound division. As far as his opponent today, I think it's just a tough, rugged type of an opponent, a guy for him to make a statement against. We know the fight that was being reported was a Floyd Schofield versus Jojo Diaz fight. But Jojo Diaz, in his bounce back fight, in his last performance, ended up losing a very closely competitive fight. And obviously that meant that Floyd Schofield fight with him fell through, which is very unfortunate because a Jojo Diaz for Floyd Schofield would have been a great opponent, especially name recognition for casual boxing fans, but also just an opportunity to really put him in that level of top guys at the 135-pound division. If we look at the current situation at BoxRec, let's just go over here to BoxRec and take a peek at the 135-pound rankings just to find out where he is and what exactly is going on. This is BoxRec, so don't use this as the God's gospel, but here we are right now. According to BoxRec, we have Tank Davis, Shakur, Lomachenko, Frank Martin, Yoshino. I'm not sure why Yoshino, coming off of a devastating loss to Shakur, is somehow at number 5. Isaac Cruz, who is going to be moving up to 140 pounds in his next fight. William Zepeda, who is headlining tonight's card. George Kambosos Jr., Zaur Abdurev, Keyshawn Davis, Raymond Muratalla, Cabrera, Maxi Hughes, who's right there at number 13, Dennis Branchek, who is mandated to fight for the WBO world title, Albert Batgiev, one of the most underappreciated up-and-coming young fighters, an Olympic gold medalist, but because he's Russian, he's not necessarily getting as much play as he would be, obviously because of what's going on between Russia and the Ukraine. So this has really stopped a lot of Russian fighters from getting a lot of opportunities in the current sort of market. Mark Chamberlain, who we just saw in Saudi Arabia on that big card, the Anthony Joshua card. Katsato, up-and-coming Japanese fighter. Kaseko, I'm not sure who he is. Jose Valenzuela, De Los Santos, who have a matchup in that PBC card. Yasudo, Oscar Duarte, who moved up to fight. Ryan Garcia at 140. Nunez, Petraza, who just got beat by Keyshawn Davis, the Mongolian fighter. And we're still looking for my man. Where is he? Albright, who we just saw fight recently against Keyshawn Davis. And if we look at this, there's Jojo Diaz at number 45. And you don't even see the young man's name in the top 50 of BoxRec. That's why he needs more of these kind of fights, more fights to get his name out there and give him the opportunity to showcase himself. A lot of people have been critical of Golden Boy not being as active promoting black fighters as people feel they should. But at the same time, it's hard to say that when literally this guy has been given 3 televised fights recently, this being his 3rd. So, I'm looking forward to his performance against this fighter today. I would try to pronounce his name, but I am not that good of a linguist. Iceman's in the house. Newton's take on boxing. What's up? What did you think about Joe Joyce? Welcome back. I didn't see Joe Joyce's performance today. Obviously, that's a UK card, and I'm sleeping during that time. So I did see that he ended up getting a 10th round stoppage against Cash Ali. I did predict that he was going to stop Cash Ali, but I was surprised that it was so difficult that it took him so many rounds to actually get that guy out. But let me know in the comment section below, what do you think? Rich Banks, we don't need to leave those kind of negative comments out there, because we know that's a YouTube narrative, not based on reality. Anybody with a big fan base and casual fan base sells, regardless of color or ethnicity. I didn't even know Joyce had a fight. Yeah, he was on that undercard today, but it didn't get much publicity, right? Obviously, if you were in the UK, you probably saw a lot more about it than you did in the US. But it's not like I saw a lot of people marketing the fact that this was Joyce's bounce back fight after losing 2 fights back to back against the big Chinaman. So I'm not sure what exactly went into it, but that's a Frank Warren promotional card. So who knows what the situation is, why they didn't sort of promote it more. Maybe they just were hoping to give him a casual opponent and they didn't want to put too much eyes on him. And maybe that's why it sort of played down. Mexicans, Saudis, Jake Paul, and UK keep boxing alive. You know, Tank Davis's pay-per-view card is going to be good. It's going to put up good numbers. Maybe not million pay-per-view numbers, but Tank Davis sells everywhere he goes in the US. Is he the face of boxing? No, but he's definitely one of the faces of boxing. So who is this guy? How do you know how to pronounce his name? Stueri. Schofield versus Sweaty. We'll see if Schofield is able to get this guy out like he has his last few opponents. He's been devastating in his last few fights. And if he's able to continue getting guys out like that, people are going to start recognizing him and asking, when are one of the champions at 135 pounds going to step up and take on this opponent? 16-0, 12 knockouts. I heard somebody in the commentating staff compare him to Mike Tyson. Isn't that the obvious comparison? You know, the same similar thing people say about Tank Davis as well. I don't understand the allure of Jake Paul. I think he sucks. I agree, but I give Jake Paul credit because he does bring in casual fans, not hardcore boxing fans, but casual fans. Definitely are intrigued by the matchups he puts on. And obviously his Mike Tyson fight is going to put up huge pay-per-view numbers, even though I think, you know, it's ridiculous, but I can't hate on Mike getting paid, can I? And here we go. Round 1, Schofield against Suera. What will Ryan versus Haney do if it happens? I think the numbers are going to be good, but unfortunately, Ryan Garcia is looking like a fucking idiot. I was watching him live yesterday on Instagram. My God, I can't even listen to that guy. He's a moron. Moronic. Round 1. Suera is very tall and long, so he's going to try to establish his jab, control the distance. Schofield's going to have to get on the inside to let his hooks go. It'll be intriguing because we know quite a few of the good fighters at 135, 140 pounds are very good at controlling range. Stylistically, at least they're not throwing in with the guy that's just flat-footed and stands right in front of him. So we're going to have to see something different from Schofield in this fight than we've seen in his most recent performances. That was a nice little left hook. Schofield definitely looks thick for the weight. I wonder how much longer he can comfortably make this weight before he has to move up. Nice right hand from Stueri. That's my Italian pronunciation. Oh, yeah, that left hand is not catching completely flush, but it's getting there from Schofield. That looks like that's going to be the knockout punch for this evening. Wide left hook. The one thing I can say about Schofield that I like, people compare him a lot to Sean Porter, but I think he's a better boxer than Sean Porter. He doesn't. Oh, nice right hand from Scoetti. Oh, there it goes. He's going to get another first round knockout. Oh, man. The left hand. That was quick. So Eddie is holding on for dear life. I don't know if he's got another 45 seconds in front of him. You better keep your hand up, buddy. Keep your hand up. That left hand has been grazing you all night. Oh, oh, the left hand bombing away. Oh, I was just going to compliment Schofield, and then he just did exactly what I was going to say he does better than Sean Porter, but he just did it. So I don't know if he does it better or if he's exactly the same. Obviously, a big headbutt just landed with him diving in, opening a cut over top of his eye. And that was my criticism for Porter. He's not able to move in and get his shots off. He dives in a lot of times, leading to headbutts. And then once he gets inside, he smothers his work. I was going to praise Schofield because that's not the kind of fighter that he is. But right now, that's an ugly cut because of that. Diving in with his head up and creating head clashes, the same as Sean Porter historically always did. That's the problem with guys that fight like this. That's why you need to use that double jab to get in the inside. But because you're trying to come in with big hooks, be explosive, you're diving in and exposing your face for the other guy's head. Luckily, though, the other guy's chin, he looks like he's susceptible to that left hand. So chances are he probably won't last. Man, come on. You're the worst cut man fucking I've ever seen. You put it on, and then you take it off. Oh, brutal, brutal headbutt. See, that's the problem. That's the problem. Diving in. So round two, big cut on Schofield's head thanks to him diving in. Suedo trying to land that right hand when Schofield wasn't paying attention. Let's see if Schofield can land that left hand again. The last round, that punch really rocked that dude. Oh, I wouldn't blame that guy. That was Schofield right there, going down for some reason. Sueda's got to bring that punch back up after he throws his right hand. He just leaves that shit down. And so far, he's been clipped a few times with that left hand, wide left hand from Schofield. Schofield got to double up that jab when he comes inside. See, the problem is that diving. Oh my God, really? This ref is terrible. He's taking 1 point off, and I don't even know what the guy did to deserve 1 point. My God. You just love when the ref gets involved too much. I was going to praise Schofield, but now I think he is just, in this fight, he's looking very much like a Sean Porter 2.0. The same problems Sean Porter has, he has. A shorter fighter that leaps in, smothers his work on the inside. And meanwhile, he got lucky. They took a point off the other guy, but he instigates it. He creates that by getting too close. And that's because of his footwork, right? He's the one that's getting into that range where he's no longer mid range where he'd be effective, but he's inside where now all of a sudden both guys are clinching each other. Doing a Roy Jones leaping left hook. Yeah, the only difference is when Roy Jones did that, he did not expose his face. Sean, does Mike have a chance versus Jake Paul? Are you getting commentary fight night? I'm not sure what's going on with that fight. If it's on DAZN, then I might have commentating, but I don't know how I feel about that fight. Obviously, I'm a huge Tyson fan, so I want to support Mike, but at the same time, I don't really want to support circus fights. Even though I guess, is it worse than AJ versus Francis Ngannou, and I supported that. So problem is Mike Tyson is like 57 years old. He's older than I am. Round 3. See, that's the problem, man. I just don't see how Schofield is going to become one of the elite fighters at lightweight if he fights the way he fights, diving in, right? Like, you can, again, right? Everything instigated is because of him, not because of the other fighter. So guys that he can bully and physically manhandle, like when we saw Sean Porter fight Devin Alexander and Paulie Malignaggi, he was easily able to physically dominate them. But once he fought legitimate fighters, guys that were the same size as him or just as strong, then he wasn't nearly as effective. He lost every single big matchup he had against quality opposition. And I think Schofield eventually is going to be the same. He'll do well against limited opposition, but once he steps up and faces elite fighters like a Tank Davis or a Shakur Stevenson, then I don't see him being able to beat either one of those kind of fighters. And if he moves up to 140, he's going to struggle even more because he has a hard time winning the fight on the outside. The more this fight's going, the more effective the opponent is getting, the less effective Schofield is getting. I think ever since he cut himself, he's just become hesitant. Sean Porter style is terrible. I hate Porter. Yeah, I don't like his suits, and I don't like his boxing style. But people that were pro PBC, they love Sean Porter because he was just a PBC opponent. I thought Adrian Broner beat him when they fought at 140. I know I'm only one of the few people that felt that, but what are you doing? See, I think he'd do better if he was using more of a Pacquiao left. When you come in, you're diving in, and then you slide your head off the line and you throw that straight shot in. And then you're on the inside, and then you can put your power punches together. Porter won easily. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. You win fights by landing clean, effective punches. That's how you win rounds. And Sean Porter was not landing clean, effective punches. He was the more busy fighter because he fights like this, but he's ineffective. Broner, for his problem is like Tank Davis and Wilder and guys like that. He doesn't throw enough punches. He picks and chooses his punches too much. And obviously, it looks as if he's being outworked by a Porter, but Porter wasn't being effective. He wasn't landing anything. So, yeah. But that's my opinion. So, by your logic, Broner beat Pacquiao. Rich Banks, how does that make any sense at all? Do you think Sean Porter did as well as Pacquiao did against Broner? Like, now you're just talking complete bullshit. Manny Pacquiao easily beat fucking Broner. He was far more effective than Broner was because he's a more effective volume puncher who lands cleaner and effective punches than Sean Porter because he's a way better fighter than fucking Sean Porter. You're taking another point off, ref. Oh my God, this fucking dude is terrible. This is the problem with boxing. It's not the boxers. It's the fucking sanctioning bodies and the commissions. Shut the fuck up, dude. Everything bad that's happened in this fight is all being started by Schofield diving in. Yeah, let me handle it. You don't need to win the fight in the round. I'm just going to have the fight fucked over on points. Like, I don't know. I would fire this guy. And look, who's the guy that's jumping into his arms? That's Schofield jumping into my arms. Schofield acting like a baby. Well, that's an opinion. You can have an opinion. I don't disagree with it. I said I'm one of the few people that felt Broner won. So we don't need to go back and forth. You agree with the majority. Congratulations. I'm an individual. I have my own opinion. I don't need to follow the fucking uh, follow the other sheep. Swear. This is the problem. Schofield is not nearly as effective as he could be. Double up your jab, throw your power punches in combination. But no, dive in with a fucking left hand. Oh, nice left hook by Swara. Where are we? The ref doing too much for sure. Too much. Schofield looking desperate. Salute Sean. What a shit show this fight is. It didn't start off that way, right? But because of the way he fights, diving in, he created that cut in his eye. And then in a couple of rounds, he's been tentative because, he's closing the range. And look at that. I know you're making the guy use energy, but it's not a good look. Keith is alive, underdog. No, he's getting knocked out. What's up, Hawker? What's this? Round 5. Nice right hand from Suera. Oh, another left hand. Suera, you better lift your hand up, man. You continuously get hit by the fucking left hook every fucking day. Like, and again, you're going to take a point off? Where was this? Oh, it's looking at his cut. Oh my God. This ref looks like he's fucking babysitting him. You'd think Soetta is so dirty and playing so rough, yet everything that started is mostly because of Schofield. 90% of the fucking stuff going on. Sean, what time is it in Bangkok? I don't know. I don't live in Bangkok. Just refs in the pocket of Golden Boy. You know, he's just going to dive in and try to hit you with the left. So keep your fucking hand up. There you go. Dive in with the left. That's all he does. Dive in with the left. Oh my God. Oh my God. Fucking ref. Jesus fucking Christ. What a fucking prick. So you're stopping the fight for a low blow. See, my God. What a bunch of fucking cringy. Yeah, I would leave too. Fuck those guys. And listen to this guy. Like, you guys watched that fight. Did you see him brazenly cheat compared to the fact that he was fighting a guy who's fucking diving with his head, fucking hitting him with his elbow, fucking pushing up with his shoulder, doing all kinds of cheating shit. But now you listen to this, and I hate this fucking commentator because he's fucking cringe like fuck. But like, literally, you think this dude deserved to get fucking suspended, but Kid Austin didn't do anything? Fuck off. Yeah, because he knows it's bullshit. Because 3 points got deducted. Commentating is biased, man. Kid Austin, another Amaro bum hype job. Morrow and Mannix are the worst commentators in history. Commentators are biased, super biased. I watched the fight with no commentating. I don't see all these fucking. So he hit him low once. Okay. He hit him low. Oh. Low blows are not a fucking something that doesn't happen in boxing. It happens all the time. More cuts. More cuts. Because the cuts were fucking started because of this kid. The cuts didn't start because of fucking Kid Austin diving in with his head. No, 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 no. The cuts started because of the other dude. Come on, man. Stop the cap. Stop the cap.
Time 2 minutes 7 seconds. Round number 5. Referee Raul Cadiz Jr. puts a halt to the fight for your winner by disqualification and still the undefeated WBA International Lightweight Champion.
Exactly. Veteran tactics. You're on the inside. You're trying to sneak the fucking inside fucking cock punch going on, thinking the ref can't see it. This is what happens all the time in boxing. When you get caught, then you lose points. Deductions happen. Okay. But what were the first two fucking deductions?
It was an entertaining fight, but not for all the right reasons. It was like a box of chocolates. We didn't know what we were going to see next. And look, I was impressed with the way Schofield handled that first scene. I was impressed that he was always looking for the knockout. This one was getting out of Jackson.
I was impressed with the way Schofield handled adversity and the way he was always looking for a knockout, because literally that's the only thing he can fucking do. He ain't fucking trying to outbox the guy, landing an effective jab and scoring points. He's literally just trying to land his left hand, because outside of that, what else is he going to do? Like, truthfully, like the 90% of what happened to him, he fucking created himself. Literally. I mean, if I was one of the top guys in boxing, I would not be too worried by this guy, because he cannot get past a jab and a right hand.
Now, you were just watching some of the replays there. How rough was it in there for you?
It was rough because, after I got that headbutt, I believe it was the first or second, I couldn't see. So I was fighting blind out of my right eye. But I still, was trying to get the knockout. But
yeah, and you created that yourself.
He did what he had to do to survive. I don't blame him. I'm glad he's good. So on to the next.
He had a reputation coming into this fight for some dirty tactics. How aware were you of that reputation coming in?
I was pretty aware, but he didn't really start off dirty. So, I was like, maybe, he changed. But like I said, he did what he had to do to survive. He got out the ring unscathed. I hurt him a couple times. But, I didn't expect him to be, that dirty, trying to pick me up and everything. I had to literally put my weight on him so he wouldn't pick me up.
You picked up another cut, this one over your right eye early in this fight. You mentioned you couldn't see out of it. What adjustments did you have to make to deal with that cut?
Look,
just keep saying moving on my feet.
He's trying to pick me up, but meanwhile, I'm draping all over his head, right? But that's my fault. And if you put your feet down, you wouldn't be getting picked up. Exactly.
Where were you with that? The need to step on the gas early in this fight?
I didn't really care for it, only because, I know I had to cut, but I felt like the doctor was going to let me keep going. I was ready to keep going, but, I still felt like I had it in the bag, I had him hurt a couple of times, and, I got this.
Is it disappointing at all?
Yeah, you got that because you dive in and you don't use your jab.
Another signature knockout, because there were times very early in the fight that you looked like you were hurting him.
Yeah, it kind of like, damn, like, he shouldn't resort to them tactics, but it's boxing, fighters, they got to do whatever they got to do to survive. Y'all seen the fight, y'all knew he was going to get out of there soon. I had him hurt, even when I was, couldn't see. So, I was just getting back, to my second win, and I didn't care for the cut. Blood was in my eyes. I was still on the hunt. But like I said, hats off to him. He did what he had to do to survive. Hey, he's boxing.
You think he was looking for a way out, though, when he's doing those things in the ring?
Oh, definitely, because the ref kept telling him, like, yo, you got one more time. And he clearly hit me on my nuts, And I never been hit low. It actually kind of hurt, I thought people were exaggerating. No, that it hurt. But like I said, I was ready to continue. I'm a warrior at the end of the day. You see this cut. I got this cut. I licked the blood, and I continue to keep going. And like I said, I could get a million more cuts. I'm going to still give the fans a good show.
The cuts that you've had over these last few fights, they are somewhat about you and your style. Right?
Yeah.
You leap in and you do create those opportunities where you can get cut. Is that something you have to change moving forward?
Yeah,
yes.
My dad, they want me to, be more patient. But like I said,
use your jab.
And if it takes me to lunge in and get that knockout, I'm going to give y'all what y'all came to see. But next time, we're going to get back in the lab. I'm going to, try to stay. Because the only reason I didn't keep my distance, use my jab, I couldn't see, so I had to go for the Hail Mary. Otherwise, I was just going to keep getting jab in my face, I would let that happen.
Let's talk about next time. You've got that regional belt around your shoulder right there. You're ranked number 4 by the WBA. What kind of fights are you looking for this year?
Now I'm looking for all the big fights. Man, I'm just ready to fight, prove myself I'm the best. And I believe the top guys ain't going to be as dirty as him. So,
Congratulations, Floyd.
thank you.
Guys,
No, but the top guy's gonna fucking catch you coming in and knock your ass out if you dive in like that. But like outside of getting hit in the balls that last time, which got him suspended, what were the other 2 fouls? Can anyone tell me in the comment section? Because as I said, I wasn't listening to the commentating, so I have no idea why the first 2 point deductions happened. I didn't see anything that deserved that kind of response, which is why I'm not surprised this kid was upset. Careful, Sean, what you say. John Boxing is going to call you a racist again. Well, that goes without saying. He's going to say that, everybody's hating on Schofield. I ain't hating. I was going to compliment him because I felt he wasn't doing what historically he did, which is dive in and create these kind of issues of headbutts and then smother his work. And just before I said it, that's exactly what he did, right? And everything that happened in this fight was created because of him fighting like Sean Porter, not using a double jab to get in the inside, diving in and exposing himself to headbutts, right? So obviously that's an issue because it was even talked about in the interview. And his father and obviously B-Hop are trying to get him to be more patient and not dive in, but he's trying to give you the knockout, so he's diving in, but that's not going to work when you face legitimate competition. The kid doesn't have adequate tools to compete at the high level. Well, that's the problem, right? If you're fighting top-level guys, you cannot dive in like that. I mean, if you did that with Tank Davis, he's going to fucking catch you and knock you unconscious, right? And if you're going to get cuts like this, big giant cuts on your forehead, potentially that's the difference between winning and losing, right? A guy that's good sees that, starts hitting you clean on that, opens it up even more, ref ends up stopping the fight. Like, the last thing you want to do is be a self-imposed guy that creates your own cuts. I mean, you could do it, but are you going to be elite? Are you going to be one of the best in the division if you fight that way? I was never a Sean Porter fan, so I'm not hating on Schofield. I just see too many comparisons between him and obviously Porter, and that does not impress me if you want to talk about him as one of the best fighters in the division. He fights like a dog too early. Well, that's the problem, right? That's the problem. Like, you can fight like a dog, but in the first 2 or 3 rounds, you don't need to do that. You jump at opportunities when they're available, but you don't need to be so aggressive, so rushed. Like he said, his team feels that he needs to show more patience. He does need to show more patience. He said he would have fought more from the outside, except he couldn't see. But he didn't fight from the outside at the beginning of the fight when he could see. Right? So, my point is the 135-pound division is deep with some serious talent. If you want to be a player in this division, I mean, it's not going to be easy because I already showed you in the comments section right here. Right? Let's look. Let's quickly look. When we look at some of these guys, oh, where is it? Come back. Come back. When we look at this lightweight division and the fighters that are there, elite fighters, the division is deep and has a lot of talent, especially young up-and-comers. What happened? Oh, my God. What are you doing, BoxRec? I hate when fucking BoxRec does this shit. Never mind. Fuck you. I don't care. BoxRec is full of shit. Porter never fought with a plan B. He has time to improve. He does have time to improve. That's true. He's not that old. But think about throwing him in with a guy like Devin Haney or a Lomachenko or guys like Zepeda and Muratalla, right, who are not elite boxers, but they're skilled enough and long enough to control the distance behind a jab and walk you into shots. If you fight that way, you're just going to be walking into shots. inevitably it's not going to be a good look for you. Of course, I can use BoxRec on my phone, but my stupid fucking computer is going to be mental. So when we think about up-and-comers like Keyshawn Davis, I mean, I think Keyshawn Davis beats this kid easy. And I know that's been an ongoing conversation. People have been asking Keyshawn Davis to fight him. Mostly people that are anti-Bud Crawford, Shakur, and Keyshawn, and that top-rank sort of group. What are you drinking, Sean? Black coffee? Because I'm no racist. I like my coffee the way I like my women. But let's just look at some of the elite fighters at 135. Obviously, you got Tank Davis. Tank Davis, he's not a guy that's going to control distance, but he has a good jab, solid jab, punishing. Obviously, he's a counter puncher. So you dive in and expose yourself the way this kid did today. Inevitably, you're putting yourself in a real tough position. Lomachenko, okay, we can look past him. He's obviously almost 36, 37 years old. Shakur Stevenson, great boxer, able to control distance, great counter puncher. Obviously, it can get a little boring if a guy is overly aggressive, but he can beat this guy on the outside easily. This guy is not going to be able to land effective left hands if that's the only punch you're throwing, diving into to do it. You're never going to be able to beat a Shakur Stevenson fighting that way. Even a Frank Martin. Frank Martin is not really tested, kind of like this kid, but Frank Martin is faster than him, sharper, and has more tools, I think, than Floyd Schofield has. I could be wrong, but at this point, I would put my money on Frank Martin. You have, of course, Zepeda, who's fighting today. That would be an intriguing fight. But the problem is, as rough and rugged and how he smothered his work, you're fighting a guy like Zepeda, who's a killer, who's going to bring that shit for 12 rounds.
He came to survive. He got hit with some bombs. As you saw, he got hurt in the first round or second round. And then
First round, Oscar.
Yeah, dirty tactics. Obviously, it's a plan to step up Floyd and keep getting him better, more experience. But obviously, this was out of hand. This kid was just, he just didn't want to fight.
So Floyd Schofield, one of your better young fighters. Another guy coming up next, William Zepeda, one of the best young fighters you have in your stable. This is an eliminator for the IBF and the WBA, so a lot at stake in this fight. What do you want to see from William Zepeda against Maxi Hughes?
Yeah, look,
Coffee Royale.
A lot at stake. There's a reason why this is a title eliminator. Maxi Hughes is no walk in the park. Maxi Hughes is the next world champion. But just wait and see. William Zepeda, I believe.
Was Maxi Hughes a world champion?
Around. It's going to be exciting. I think Maxi Hughes is a hell of a fighter, but this will be a hell of a war.
We just have the schedule up.
The good thing they like about Maxi Hughes is he doesn't have power. So he's a good opponent to throw Zepeda in with, because even though he's an awkward and a skilled fighter, who obviously fought well against Kambosos, Zepeda is no Kambosos. He's a much taller, longer, and throws way more punches. So ultimately, he's in a position to be far more effective. Far more effective. Maxi can box. Yeah. He's an awkward outboxer, right? But doesn't have much power. So you can be aggressive against him. What's coming back is probably not going to threaten you too much. Then we got Keyshawn Davis, Raymond Murtala. Murtala is an aggressive fighter, very similar to Zepeda in that he's able to control distance. He's got a good jab and right hand, and also is a high volume puncher. Murtala, I think, is too much for a kid like Floyd Schofield as well. So that's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys so far in the top 10 that I think are better than Schofield. Albert Batkaev, of course, the only reason I'm supporting him is because I support non-Black American fighters. But Albert is a gold medal winning Olympian who currently is 10-0 with 7 KOs. And when you look at who he's faced in his career, in Ricardo Nunez, Jerziel Corrales. He's already faced very good competition early on in his career, and obviously is looked great. I think he looks a little too small for this division. I think he should be probably fighting at 126, maybe even 130, but he's comfortable at that weight. I think a potential opponent that I would like to see this kid in with is maybe the winner of Jose Valenzuela, Edwin De Los Santos, right? Both longer fighters than him. They can establish distance. They both have enough power that if you dive in and you're not staying defensively on top of things, you're going to get countered, potentially stopped. Sean, who will win the starting QB job in Pittsburgh between Russell Wilson and Justin Fields? No idea. Russell Wilson is an experienced player, but I don't know what he's got left in the gas tank. Does he have much? Is he still relevant? Or is Justin Fields the young up-and-comer? I've heard Justin Fields' name, but I don't watch American football. I live in Taiwan. I'm hearing rumors Raya Santos will rematch. Yeah, that's supposed to be on the undercard of Tank Davis's pay-per-view. Actually, that pay-per-view looks like it's turning into a pretty good fight. If that fight happens, De Los Santos versus Raya, I think Raya will beat De Los Santos in the rematch. I definitely think he makes good adjustments and is more effective the second time around. I can't say the same about De Los Santos. And then they're also talking about Morrell versus Andrade. And I mean, if Andrade takes on Morrell coming off of a knockout loss to Benavidez, every bad thing I said about Demetrius Andrade, I take off the table. He's got a ton of heart, and you can see that he is about that smoke. But unfortunately, I think Dave Morrell is going to fucking destroy him more destructively than David Benavidez did. And all that's going to show you is exactly why David Benavidez has blatantly ducked Morrell, because he knows he don't want that smoke. That's why he'd rather go to 175 pounds and take on an inactive retired fighter in Vosdick. De Los Santos beats Raya to the pulp. No, he beat him the first time around, but I think that won't happen the second time around. I think Raya is going to come in. He's not going to get caught in the first round like he did last time, which inevitably led to his destruction. I think he's going to be far more effective this time around. Roya can't beat De Los Santos. He is really skilled, fast power, and ring IQ. Good defense as well. Who? De Los Santos? No. De Los Santos is overrated. Andrade is a record warrior fraud. Well, he stepped up and faced Benavidez, and if he faces Morrell next, I guess you can't really call him a fraud. You can say that he's not that great, that he was overrated for a long time by certain YouTube boxing channels. But as far as stepping up and fighting the kind of opponents he should fight, you can't complain. Fighting Benavidez and Morrell, who else should he fight? Those are two of the best three fighters in the division. So I definitely will give him tons of praise for stepping up and taking on that level of opposition. I think Andrade needs to get on some gear. Well, he probably needs to get on some gear if he's going to fight fucking Morrell, that's for sure. Morrell looks like a bad, bad man. And that other Cuban, Alicius Iglesias, another Cuban that just fought last weekend, those two Cuban 168-pounders, don't be surprised if 3 years from now, those are the two dominant fighters at 168 pounds, right? And everybody else is just running wild to avoid both of them, because those two guys have obviously great skill coming from the Cuban school, but they have power as well. Both dangerous fighters.
With William Zepeda, El Cameron.
Maxi looks in good shape.
We have the rare double world title eliminator tonight. Does that give this fight a little bit of extra juice?
So the question is, somebody brought this up today in a video that I made. There's speculation because Shakur Stevenson has been getting upset because it's being talked about that maybe Lomachenko will face Navarrete in unification for the IBF and the WBO titles. Obviously, Lomachenko is going to be fighting Kambosos for that IBF title. And apparently, Navarrete is going to be elevated or put in position to fight for that vacant WBO title. So him and Lomachenko may clash for unification. Shakur, of course, is pissed off because he would want one of those two opponents for unification. Understandably so. If you were him, of course you'd want one of those two fighters. But at the same time, it's hard to hate on those guys for facing each other because that's what you want. You want to face them and they want to face each other. So then what exactly is the need to hate on it, right? All Shakur has to do is probably face a guy like Muratalla, which is a great opponent. And if he beats him, then he can take on the opponent between Lomachenko and Navarrete for 3-belt unification, which is great, right? Like for Top Rank and for boxing fans, is there anything better than that? Like ultimately, isn't that exactly what we would want to happen? And then a 3-belt unified champion can call out Tank Davis, the guy that has the remaining title, right? And force Tank to step up and take on the winner of that fight for undisputed, or really look like a bitch who's been ducking all the top-level opponents in boxing. But this fight, Zepeda is going to be fighting to become the mandatory for the winner of Lomachenko versus Kambosos. And when I talked about the possibility of Lomachenko fighting Navarrete, somebody said, well, what about Zepeda? It's not what if. We know that IBF has dictated that the winner of this becomes the mandatory for the winner of Lomachenko and Kambosos. But we also know that mandatories, do not trump unification fights. Lomachenko taking on Navarrete in a unification fight or a Shakur Stevenson in a unification fight trumps a mandatory every day of the week, right? So that's all I'm doing. I'm just sticking with the historical path, right, to greatness. This is what you want. You want unification. If there is no unification or unification can't be done, then you fight your mandatory. In this case, William Zepeda. And I think William Zepeda, Lomachenko, Jesus Christ, what a great fight that would be. Can you imagine coming off of a George Kambosos fight, you take on William Zepeda? The hater's going to hate. They're going to say Lomachenko's ducking Shakur, but you don't duck Shakur to fight fucking William Zepeda because you're not going to make as much money, and it's probably a more dangerous fight. Not a fight that you couldn't win, but just physically a more dangerous fight. Zepeda is a much different fighter than Shakur Stevenson, right? No one expects that Shakur Stevenson is going to beat the hell out of you and knock you out, but that's exactly what William Zepeda will do. But leave in the comment section below, what would you prefer Lomachenko to do next? Fight Navarrete, fight Shakur, or fight tonight's winner, William Zepeda? Let me know in the comment section below. Let the people speak. De Los Santos will win again. He is legit. He ain't legit. He looked terrible against Shakur Stevenson. He did not even fucking look like he tried. And literally the best win he had prior to that was this kid, who was a kid, right? How many fights did he have? Less than 15 when De Los Santos fought him? William Zepeda is definitely underappreciated. This was a guy that beat the crap out of Jojo Diaz. I felt he dominated and dictated the fight against Jojo Diaz far more effectively than Shakur Stevenson did. Loma versus Zepeda. So Machado wants Lomachenko, Zepeda. I hate Shakur boxing style with a passion. Yeah, so then you want to see Loma fight who? Zepeda or Navarrete? So far, we got 1 for Zepeda. I would love to see Shakur fight Muratalla. That's an in-house top-rank fight. Stylistically, I think it's a very good matchup. And I think Muratalla deserves an opportunity, right? And for Shakur, if you can't get Lomachenko or Navarrete, fight a Muratella. Rich says Loma versus Zepeda, so that's 2 for Zepeda. 2 for Zepeda. So you guys would rather have Zepeda than a unification fight with Navarrete, a guy who would be fighting for his 4th weight class world title. Really? Because Navarrete is a far bigger legacy fight and also a fight that does bigger pay-per-view numbers as well. But not talking Shakur, though. You forgot Navarrete, who would be the other opponent. I'd love to see Zepeda versus Navarrete. But then, of course, by you say that, then you're a racist because you don't want Shakur to get his chance. Remember when we were talking about Oscar Valdez fighting Navarrete? And then people like John and others cried and complained that we didn't want to let Shakur have the opportunities for greatness. But it had nothing to do with that. We wanted a great fight, a great matchup, right? That's it. It had nothing to do with race or color or fucking ethnicity or any of that. That's what his issue was. But the rest of us, we knew Oscar Valdez Navarrete would be a way better fight. And it was a way better fight. The Navarrete Valdez fight was a great fight. The Shakur Stevenson Valdez fight wasn't great. It was very one-sided and wasn't nearly as interesting, right? So is it hate to pick a fight that you know is going to be more entertaining? I want to go see the movie that's an Oscar movie or go see the movie I think is going to be more entertaining. So if I hate on the Oscar movie, then I'm hating? See, that's the problem with guys like him. It's always racial. Look who's in the corner. If Maxi Hughes wins this fight, this is a huge fucking upset. Shakur is the reason my 10-year-old son hates boxing. Oh no. That's your fault. You should make your 10-year-old son watch good fights. He looked good versus Valdez, to be fair. Yeah, he looked good, but the fight wasn't entertaining. Loma versus Zepeda would be more entertaining than Loma versus Shakur. But once again, you're not talking about Navarrete, who is the other one. I don't care to see Shakur fight ever again. A lot of people feel that way after that performance. But then he looked great against the Japanese fighter. So it just tells you styles do make fights. Against the Japanese fighter, I thought Floyd Mayweather was reborn. But then in the De Los Santos fight, I thought, oh, fuck, Rigo was reborn. You know, who do you want? Reincarnation of Floyd or reincarnation of fucking Rigo? Jesus. And if that's where Shakur is fighting along that line, he's never going to be the superstar that he hopes to be. But here we go. Round 1, Maxi Hughes, William Zepeda. Let's see if Maxi Hughes can keep fucking William Zepeda off of him. It's going to be a tough ask. He better be sharp with his fucking jab. So you already look at the way Zepeda approaches. High guard, establishes his jab. He doesn't dive in like Floyd Schofield did earlier to land a shot. Good jab from Hughes. You know, when you fight a guy like William Zepeda, I don't know if you want to go to his body like Maxi Hughes is doing, because once you start going to his body, he's going to start going to your body. And I don't know, I don't know if you want to start that back and forth because he is a vicious body puncher. Both guys are getting off well to start the fight. Good combination from Maxi. Good right hand from Maxi. Good back and forth so far in this fight. This is going to be a good fight for as long as it lasts. The funny thing about Zepeda, the first round, you don't expect to see the best from him. It takes him a few rounds, right, to let the grease, the oil start flowing through his joints and just let his combination punches start to flow. But so far, Hughes is giving as good as he's getting, that's for sure. Good start for Maxi Hughes. Round one. It's a good round. But then already Maxi Hughes looks like he's already been in a fight, whereas Zepeda is just warming up. That was round one. I didn't expect to knock him out yet. I'm just fucking getting my combination punches going. Wait until round 6. Sean, in my opinion, Loma beats Navarrete very easy. I knew Shakur would have issues with Edwin. Edwin's a beast, but there was no issues. Edwin didn't throw any punches. He's a beast that didn't fucking throw punches against a guy that's considered a light puncher. What happened to Roy Dixon? I blocked that guy because fucking he's annoying as fuck. And the comment section, him and you going back and forth, Jesus fucking Christ. It's cool to leave a comment or a couple comments and even have a back and forth with somebody. But that dude never shuts the fuck up, man. Literally, never shuts the fuck up. I'm like, dude, you're just disrespectful. If you're going to come on my channel and have a fun back and forth, that's one thing. But to be a complete dick, just fuck off. Go watch someone else then. I have no time for you. I only have so much patience, and I think everybody would understand my patience is pretty fucking good for the most part. Nice right hand from Maxi Hughes. Zepeda makes Mexican boxing fans proud because he is Morales Barrera. He is the epitome of the Mexican fucking fighter. Not bad, skilled fighter, not bad defense, but what a fucking non-stop aggressive puncher. No one's going to call him Shakur Stevenson, but yet he has a reasonable defense. He keeps his hands up. But a monster. Maxi Hughes is right now asking himself, Jesus fucking Christ, man. Why did I put myself in this position? This guy does not stop fucking coming forward. Who did I spar that's going to prepare me for this kid? It's round 2 and already it's too much. It's too much. I don't know what Lomachenko's going to do to fucking beat William Zepeda. I don't know what Lomachenko's going to do to beat William Zepeda. Like, if you're a Tank Davis, okay, you got that one-hit quitter, right? A Shakur, I don't think Shakur wants to face this kid. I don't think Shakur wants to face Muratalla. You're not going to get tons of praise if you beat them, but you're not going to run into people that fucking put so much pressure on you. This is what people thought Edwin De Los Santos was going to do to Shakur, but Edwin De Los Santos is no fucking Zepeda. It ain't even close. Zepeda is a fucking Terminator. Two rounds and Maxi Hughes already looked like he fucking got beat up. Nice right hand. Nice left hand. Maxi's landing good shots. But he's getting his ass beat. You actually doubting Loma? Styles make fights, man. I'm a fair boxing fan. I've always been a fair boxing fan. I lean towards Shakur at this age to beat Lomachenko because Lomachenko is almost 37 years old. I tried to warn him. Maybe he thought I was joking. Floyd Schoolboy should stick to fundamentals of boxing. I know having short arms is hard to land a good jab, but those lunging punches were too much. Exactly, Pablo. He got to double that jab up, man. Double it up. If Mike Tyson could fucking land jabs, you could land fucking jabs, right? Because Tyson was fighting dudes that were gargantuan with huge reach advantages over him. Schofield ain't fighting dudes that are that much longer than him. You know, you got to double that jab up, get on the inside, don't smother your work, hit the body and the head. Today, he's just diving in. It just does not look good. Newton couldn't hang out at the tavern. I couldn't hang out at the tavern? What do you mean? Because I can't take it? That ain't true. I can. I can give it, I can take it, but come on. Bradley and Mikey Garcia got short arms with elite jabs. Well, exactly. Bradley is a perfect example of that. Bradley would be a much better person for him to role model than a fucking Sean Porter. Round 3. Zepeda is fucking relentless. Relentless. He's like Roy fucking Dixon. Relentless, but not nearly as fucking entertaining. See, the problem with Maxi Hughes is he just doesn't have enough fucking pop in his punches. Oh. I don't know how people can say that Zepeda is not entertaining. He is nothing but entertaining. I don't know if there's anybody at 135 pounds that I wouldn't like to see him fight. Throw him in with Lomachenko. Throw him in with Shakur. Throw him in with Tank. Throw him in with Muratalla. Throw him in with fucking Navarrete. I mean, Jesus Christ, man. You could throw him in with any of those fighters. Throw him in with fucking, what's his face? The guy that's going to fight Tank Davis. Throw him in with Shakur Stevenson. Man, it's going to be a long night. Now he's starting to hit that body. Shit's not going to last another 2 fucking rounds. He is a fucking buzzsaw. Maxi Hughes is fucking hating this decision. Hating it. Shane Mosley Jr. Yeah, you're not that good. He ain't his dad. Fucking William Zepeda. What a monster. What a monster. I don't know if this guy lasts 6 rounds. Every 2 punches you land, I'm going to land 20. That's why when people talk about smaller fighters not being entertaining, it's like, you dudes are crazy. I would rather watch this guy fight than any heavyweight, any day of the week. Round 4. Can Maxi Hughes go 6 rounds? At this pace, I don't know. I'm surprised Jojo Diaz, it shows you a testament to how tough he is, was able to go 12 rounds with Zepeda. I mean, he lost every round in my book, but nonetheless, he still was able to fucking go 12 rounds. I think Hughes has to, like, nice shots from Hughes. He's giving it. He's trying. He's landing shots. "60 punches landed, 153 thrown." Maxi's thinking, how do I get close enough to hold this fucking guy? I need to hold him a little bit. Oh, oh my God. Oh, it's unfair. Those body shots are doing it, man. He's going to take a knee before this round is done. Look at his corner. Is there anybody in boxing that wants to jump in the ring with this fucking kid? Literally. Like, people hate on Munguia, and then, you know, people dismiss and ignore this kid. But are there 2 more entertaining fighters in boxing? I don't know if there are. I think Maxi Hughes' fucking corner is going to stop the fight in the corner. Because I don't know if they want to see him go another 2 fucking rounds. Oh my God. I feel bad for you, Sophie. You should have told your husband this was never a fight he wanted to go over to the States to take on. Maxi, we're just going to call the fight because there's no point going on. Okay. Fight's over. Yeah. Oh my God. Wow. What a fucking monster William Zepeda is. What a monster. What a killer. 4 fucking rounds.
You can debate whether or not William Zepeda is the best fighter in under 35-pound division. I don't think there's any question. He is right up there among the most entertaining fighters in this weight class. William Zepeda now 30-0 with 26 knockouts.
B-Hop is the best. Look at the look he gave him. B-Hop was like, what the fuck, man?
We know how some of these top-level fights struggle to get made sometimes, especially when it's competing promotions. I think William Zepeda's pathway right now is to try to get a crack at World title. This win here puts him in a mandatory position.
Does Lomachenko want to take on fucking this guy? Does Lomachenko want to take on this guy? Look at fucking Hughes, man, in the corner. He got beat up, and it was only 4 rounds.
And if you're gonna go through hell, you better have something to give hell with, to raise hell with. But Hughes doesn't have the power to do that. Even the sneaky body shots that he's really good at throwing, they work.
That's what I was saying, man. Maxi Hughes, he ain't going to be able to keep that pace. And you don't want to start throwing body punches because that shit's going to come back at you. Man, this kid is vicious. Vicious. I wonder why Zepeda nicknamed is Shrimp. He fights like a shark. Yes, he does. I watched one video from John. Makes me sick. Just like Dante Fat Victim Nation. Exactly. The dude is ridiculous, man. Everything is victimhood. He's criticizing people because they're not giving Raymond Ford more publicity. But yet, most of the people you can point fingers at are other black YouTubers who never talked about Raymond Ford, didn't talk about that performance, didn't talk about that fight. But it's everybody else's fault. Yet, people within your community don't talk about him. I talked about Raymond Ford. I talked about how he's going to be part of the Saudi Arabia card coming up next and how that's excellent for him. But we're ignoring him. We're downplaying him. Give me a break. You know, I talked about how he could win, but because I didn't predict the correct way he could win, then I'm hating on him. I still fucking predicted he could win the fight. I gave the guy the benefit of the doubt. 30-0 with 26 knockouts. Is there a fucking more dangerous 135-pounder in boxing? I don't know if there is. Ah, that's why he's Shrimp. Because he turns pink, and it's true. Who wants to fight this kid? I'm a huge Lomachenko fan. I don't want Lomachenko to fight fucking William Zepeda because I don't see how fucking Lomachenko can beat William Zepeda. I don't. The only person I can see beating Zepeda is Tank Davis because he's got enough power that if he lands a big counter shot, maybe that could like count him out. But outside of that, I don't know who the fuck beats this kid. Literally, in all honesty. John Wants mentions Zepeda. Well, if he mentions Zepeda, it will only be to shit on him and criticize him, right? He fanboyed fighters like Frank Martin, but Frank Martin hasn't faced an opponent like Jojo Diaz, hasn't faced an opponent like Maxi Hughes, right? He struggled against a guy that if William Zepeda would have fought, they wouldn't have fucking even talked about that fight. But it's everybody else's fault, right? It's easy to be critical, but the problem is you're fucking just as bad, if not worse, than the people you're attacking 99% of the fucking time. William Zepeda is a beast. And if you can't give him credit for that, you're part of the problem. But he's going to come up with a video talking about how people didn't give Floyd Schofield praise. Today's fight card, the only person that deserves tons of praise is this fucking guy. He's the only guy that deserves tons of praise. And ironically enough, Lomachenko is cherry-picking Kambosos, but this may be his fucking mandatory. This killer, this monster.
And let's keep going.
Maxi Hughes is an experienced guy. When did you feel like you had kind of broken him down in this fight?
Round two. Round two.
¿En qué momento te diste cuenta que le estabas haciendo daño?
No, luego sabía que la estrategia era trabajar el cuerpo y terminar arriba. Lo empezamos a aplicar, sacándole sus golpes, a pegarle abajo sus zonas blandas, y eso fue lo que nos ayudó a seguir metiendo presión.
We knew it. We worked on it. You know, go low blows and then go up. And that's what we did. Pressure him, and that's what happened in the fight, and that's what we worked for.
Got some of the replays here from the action in the early rounds.
Zepeda is a machine, a monster.
Going up against Maxi Hughes, who is not a volume puncher, but is crafty in the ring.
¿Cuál fue el ataque, la manera de atacar a Maxi Hughes? Es un hombre que no tira muy duro, pero sabe tirar los golpes.
Pues como lo mencionaba, nuestro nuestro campamento fue excelente, hicimos un gran plan de trabajo, sabíamos que no aventarnos, mantener nuestra distancia y la presión no le iba a faltar.
We knew it. We worked during camp, like I said before. Attack him when he gave us a chance. Don't overdo it because he could be dangerous. But at the end, we worked hard, and this is what happened.
How much has your confidence grown over the last couple of years as you've risen up the rankings?
Tu confianza, ¿qué tanto ha crecido mientras ves que vas arriba y arriba, arriba en las listas de los calificados?
Schools?
No es la confianza, al contrario, siento más responsabilidad de seguir dando este tipo de demostraciones. Sabemos que
I hope Lomachenko beats him.
son más fuertes, son más experimentados.
Don't get me wrong.
It just happens to be, that's the way it is. We keep on working. We know whoever is
But even if Lomachenko beats him, he still ain't going to get credit from the haters, right? But if he loses to him, you know they're going to jump on that and they're going to be like all fucking in their glory that Lomachenko's a hype job. He's overrated. But yet you won't hear these same dudes pushing for Shakur to fight this kid or Tank Davis to fight this kid. No, of course not. Because they understand. That's why you never hear Raymond Muratalla being mentioned as an opponent for Shakur, because he's too dangerous. I'm not saying that Shakur couldn't beat him, but these are legitimate fucking opponents. Legitimate opponents. Loma is too old now. That's what I feel, right? Lomachenko is 37 years old, right? Mentally, is he at the point of his career where he could even stick in with a tough opponent like this? I mean, obviously the Devin Haney fight was tough, but not to this extent, right? Not to this extent. No fucking way.
Turn to you briefly. What did you think of that performance?
I love the performance. He's relentless. Like I said,
Relentless.
Maxi Hughes is a tough ex-world champion, and it was very impressive. We believe in William. He's ready for anybody. This was an eliminator for 2 world championships. We're going to go back to the drawing board and call out whoever wants to fight William, whoever has,
The cojones.
to face William.
All right, so who do you want to see him in with next?
I would love to see him with anybody, with Shakur Stevenson. Shakur, if you're watching, let's get it on. Let's go. I would love to see him with the winner of Cambosos and
Lomachenko,
which would be great. That would be a terrific fight. But William Zepeda is ready for anybody.
I appreciate it, Oscar. Congratulations, William. Guys, we'll throw it back to you.
he is ready for anybody. With his style, now is the time, man. Now is the time to fucking jump at it. Zepeda throws 150 punches per round. Zepeda just said he wants Shakur and Tank. Tank will never fight Zepeda. Never. And Al Heyman won't push for that fight. Even though, as I said, I do think Tank Davis has the best ability to beat Zepeda because he does have legitimate one-power knockouts. But Shakur struggled with guys like Nakatila and De Los Santos, right? What's going to happen with a kid like him who just going to pressure nonstop, right? I don't know if Shakur has the power to keep this kid honest, in all honesty. Like, I mean, 4 rounds, he threw 100 fucking punches per round, 102, landed 163 punches, 40% landed percentage. Man, the dude's crazy. Leave Uncle Al alone. He got nothing to do with this. What do you mean? He does. He's protecting his boy, protecting him like crazy. But what a performance from William Zepeda. It'll be interesting to see who steps up and which sanctioning body mandates. Because as they just said, this has become an eliminator for WBC and IBF, apparently. So he's in line to take on either Shakur or Lomachenko. And we know Shakur wants an opponent because he's been talking about Lomachenko and Navarrete. Here's his opponent, right? Let's just take a quick look at the boxing rankings. Not BoxRec, but the official boxing rankings. Boxing Scenes, boxing ranking. Here we go. So 135 pounds. So Shakur is the champion, William Zepeda, is currently ranked number 1 for Shakur Stevenson title. Raymond Muratalla, number 2. Keyshawn Davis, number 3. Frank Martin, 4. Edwin is 5. And Maxi Hughes is number 6. So obviously, Zepeda beating Maxi Hughes has just really cemented him as Shakur Stevenson's mandatory. William Zepeda is number 1 for Tank Davis. Martin is number 2. Stella Santos is 3. Floyd Schofield is 4. I don't know how he's 4 because has he faced anybody in the top 15? Let's just look. Hughes, Valenzuela, Cham Thompson, Makayo, Batregev, Abdulev, Cully, Cruz, Badri, Madrueno, Gutierrez. That's the top 15 at the IBF. Schofield hasn't faced one top 15 fighter. See, that's another problem I have with these rankings. I don't know how you can be elevated so high in a ranking when you haven't beaten one guy in the top 15 rankings. Not one. Not one. Obviously, Lomachenko and Kambosos are fighting for the vacant title. Maxi Hughes is ranked 4. Keyshawn is 5. Zepeda is 6th. So that's his lowest ranking. Obviously, he's going to catapult up that ranking today after this performance. And for the WBO, Dennis Branchek, Angel Fierro, William Zepeda, Martin Muratalla, Keyshawn Davis, Abdurev are the top 7. And obviously, we know that Navarrete is going to be mandated by the WBO into that vacant title fight. So, what's Devin Haney saying?
When Loma had the belts, he didn't want to give me a shot, and a part of me.
Again, that's cap. It's not that Lomachenko didn't want to give you a shot. See, this is again when people fucking lie and are distrustful. You are the mandatory for Lomachenko. He was fighting for undisputed, so he chose to fight unification with Lopez. It's not that he didn't want to give you a shot. What did he tell Lopez to do? He said, Lopez, you win a world title, I'll fight you for unification. Lopez beat Comey, elevating him to IBF world champion, allowing him the opportunity to face Lomachenko for undisputed. So it's not that Lomachenko didn't want to give you a chance. You hadn't done anything. You hadn't earned a fucking fight. It wasn't a fight that made sense to Lomachenko. He was chasing undisputed. Why would he fucking face you, right? But again, people are fucking dishonest. These are the same people that don't say that Devin Haney ducked Shakur Stevenson, even though the WBC mandated Shakur Stevenson as Devin Haney's mandatory. But he didn't duck, even though currently Shakur Stevenson has Devin Haney's WBC title. So if you want to hate on Lomachenko, why aren't you hating on fucking Devin Haney?
And show the one championship champion, and that's what I do.
You had to go dig deep to win that fight. Was that the most challenging in-ring experience that you've had?
Yeah, it was definitely a tough fight. It was my toughest fight up to date, but it was a competitive fight. But
it was a competitive fight, a fight that the majority of boxing fans feel you lost. Imagine if you would have got the opportunity to face Lomachenko fucking 3 years earlier. Lomachenko would have beat your ass easy. Easy. And we know that because we saw him face you after more than a year of inactivity, after the whole Russian-Ukrainian situation, and you being a fucking weight bully at that point, coming in at 160 fucking pounds on fight night.
Yeah, that's what people use that. They say competitive fights in boxing are robberies. They mistake them for robberies when if it's a close fight. It's not a robbery.
But if it was a close fight and it wasn't a robbery, why did you avoid the rematch? Right? If a fight was that competitive, why didn't you chase that fight in a rematch? Why did you chase some fucking random fight with Regis Prograis in a fight that didn't mean anything? Well, we know why, because that's a much easier fight than Lomachenko. And we heard you talking to your father during the fight, talking about how you couldn't do anything. Lomachenko knew what you were doing, right? Luckily for you, you pulled out that victory, and the judges were very generous towards you, allowing you to get tons of points for body work, which, I mean, if it was a different fighter landing body shots, surprise, surprise, they wouldn't get any fucking credit at all. But in this fight, Devin Haney got tons of credit for body work, right? Again, showing the inconsistency and the problem. Because if you don't want to give Mexican fighters credit for landing body work, why would you give a Black American fighter credit for landing body work? Either you give credit to everybody or you give credit to fucking nobody.
You know, which I definitely feel like I won the fight. I think a lot of early rounds, and he had, you know, 2 big rounds that, you know, made a lot of people think that, you know, he did a lot more than he did. But
Oh, he only had 2 big rounds that made him people think he did more than he did. See, again, cap. Again, cap. He had 2 big rounds. You didn't have any big rounds, right? The 2 big rounds just solidify his effectiveness as opposed to you. The best thing you did in that fight was land body shots. You didn't land lots of clean fucking headshots. You didn't win the battle of jabs, which is what I predicted. I said Devin Haney's not going to out-jab Lomachenko because his jab is going to be taken away. And it was. You're a boxer who controls distance with your jab, yet your jab was ineffective for the whole fight.
the last round is the round that I needed, and I took it.
And to be fair, I had Lomachenko winning the last round. Sure, Devin Haney was more effective in that round than he had been the previous 2, but being more effective doesn't mean you won a round. Lopez beat Lomachenko in the 12th round, which was the round he needed to win, and he did it. And I criticized Lomachenko because, in truth, if he would have won the 12th round against Lopez and he would have won the 12th round against Devin Haney, that could have changed a lot. I don't know if legitimately it would have changed things on cards, but in my cards, Lomachenko would have had the draw against Lopez, and he would have clearly fucking beat Devin Haney in their fight, which means that instead of having 2 additional losses on his resume now, he'd have only still 1 loss to Salido, which never should have been a loss, and 1 draw to Lopez. And he wouldn't have lost to Haney, and he wouldn't have lost to Salido. But that's me. Obviously, I'm a Lomachenko fan, but anybody that watches my boxing channel knows that I'm more than fair when it comes to scoring. More than fair, probably way fairer than you are, because there's been tons of fights where I've picked against my favorite fighter in fights because I felt that they just didn't do enough to win, and I knew they weren't going to get credit for it, right? Which is why you didn't hear me crying and complaining in the 2 Canelo Alvarez-Golovkin fights. Tank destroys Zepeda. Destroys? Now, that's questionable because we've seen Tank Davis get outboxed by fucking guys with no power like Leo Santa Cruz. But I definitely think that Tank could win that fight. I definitely think he's probably the guy in the best position to win that fight. Sean, is Messi soccer's Michael Jordan? Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Haney's a liar. Tank ducking all champs. Yes, he is. If Tank can't land that shot, he's in trouble. Yeah, he's going to lose the same way that Wilder and Broner lose fights, by being outworked by a guy who throws more volume. The same way that potentially Canelo Alvarez is going to lose to Jaime Munguia, right? Which people may dismiss and downplay. But if Canelo Alvarez can't hurt Jaime Munguia is going to win that fight. He's going to outwork Canelo Alvarez, and he's going to win more rounds because he's more effective. That's the same thing William Zepeda could do with Tank Davis. Tank even had a tough time with Pitbull. That's because Pitbull was so short. A short guy like Tank Davis has never fought a dude shorter than him. He would lose to Zepeda. I won't say he would lose, but it's a tough fight. Haney's body work didn't even hurt or slow Loma down. Well, that's the thing. It didn't slow him down, right? Lomachenko took those body shots and was effective throughout 12 rounds. But guys, I'm going to drop the kids off at the pool. Thanks for jumping in. I will see you next time. Peace out. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy. And I will see you next time. Ciao.